a junction. 10,000 fronts tilt, collide, re-angle. The great game shifts without witness, rewarding whatever lines up clean.
Bells drift from under racing, I refuse to acknowledge sports. Hanging pockets where motion hasn't arrived. I don't name the gods across from me. Name's dragging, I need velocity. I count
Again, the count doesn't ensue.
It narrows the aperture. Daemonettes move in deliberate spacing. Interval so exact they put her on mockery. Blades low, shoulders loose, hips turning on half beats. Not advancing, arranging, opposing direction by Vulcan habit. Trusting that mass equals method. I know the flow in that assumption, and I dislike how much I enjoy knowing it. First contact is in collision, it's a miscoordinate. A cut flat where 3 steps should have aligned. A formation folding inward on its own confusion. I mark the instance, I want it sharper. They assume the field will thicken, it never thickens the way they expect. Signal given, the rhythm contracts too tight, I allow it. Turn the war into a batter, trim the doubt, deny it room. Step, draw, turn, repeat the loom. Pressure finds the steam by tomb. Turn the war, don't stall the rate. Angle clean, accelerate. Every motion placed with intent. We finish before they register intent. Before they register, before they register. Seekers flare, why? Why? Like a deviation, half a beat, late speed. Drags attention outwards, stretching the line past this 10-sound limit and nearly past my Fiends slip through the aperture, not to kill. A scramble orientation, reflexes smear. Or does arrive intact but irrelevant. One error flashes the low, a better carrier pivots wrong. Hold for a cue that never forms. The pause spreads like a drop measure. Across the warp, the stainless step echoes. Conflicts undone by fractions, not force.
Slide your sets and realign the count.
Turn the war into a pattern, feel the drift. Catch the slide, endurance assumes it is marching. Precision denies it. Chariots enter earlier than any plan allowed. I count correctly and through Goldars cut too near, wheels screaming to haze and bodies turning withdrawal to the spectacle into unraveling. Visibility outperforms in back, ushering in the midnight zone to the pattern wavers. I register it, I enjoy that, I register that. No field thinking, mud, brick, soak, drag, bills exist on the tempo, I refuse. This is where the rifle pleasant expects reward, where everything flows enough to pretend it matters. I feel irritation, sharp, immediate at the track. The resistance, the refusal of the field to compute the timing. The count stutters one side, forcing back. So cry the resistance from the central axis, striding stacks, singles immaculate to immaculate. In reflection, I get the request.
It chose the frame once rather than accept quiet. I understand that distinction way from
Comfortable clarity. Step and foxing, sky compressing. What remains in the shake to breathe. Raise across my forward right. So course acceptable. The pattern hole. Turn the war into a pattern. No direction, less to face. Speeding, cutting, never timing. Pressurizing, motion free. Turn the war until it yields. Not from force but from misfields. Every motion present part. This is how we render art. Render art. The field open by the precision results.
musically.
Elsewhere art rewrites variable. Plays over zones, shades with fire. The breaking continues uninvested. I'm just engaged slower than I should. The quiet practice.
Infection never stays. That isn't the issue. It's how my hands keep counting. The issue.